I got done cleaning all my guns at the hotel room, and I then proceeded to go to Walmart to get a few extra outdoor items along with the things that I had brought from home in case I could no longer stay in the hotel room and had to do a little bit of camping. I picked up 10 of the 5-gallon propane containers, 2 big 10-gallon gasoline containers, and a big bottle of Jack Daniels, and some other odds and ends to keep me sane if I had to wait for him. After all, he did have a reputation for taking his time to prepare and plan everything that he was about to do. Unless he was setting a trap for me, he really got shit moving when the ball was in his court. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't this time, so I was prepared to wait. I stopped at a gas station to fill up my tank and the 10-gallon gasoline drums I had just bought. Once I was done, I headed up to set up and wait. I arrived around 11 p.m. I told Mike to meet me at Red Rock in 2 days from when I left him the note. I figured he was gonna take the day in between to check out the place for advantages and disadvantages, cover, terrain, and which spots would offer the greatest advantage over the other. In essence, high ground with lots of cover. I had already done this the week before, and I luckily have spent my fair share of time in the area hiking along, just to get out of the city, even if it was just for a moment. You'd be surprised at how much you take in when you hike alone and don't have any distractions. I knew this particular area well, almost like the back of my hand. But Mike didn't, so I had a few ideas on where to lay a trap for him in case he decided to come the next day and do some scouting. I knew he would be looking for good ambush areas, somewhere I wouldn't expect where he would have an extreme tactical advantage. There was an area about 2 miles in from where the paved road turns to dirt. Big boulders surround the road, along with tons of wild trees and bushes. Monsoon season was just coming to an end, so the vegetation was nice and thick, providing lots of sight coverage. I was planning on parking my car right after this area in order to provide the illusion that that's where I would ambush him. However, there's a big overhanging plateau formation way in the distance. It had 3 areas that looked over the entire stretch of road for about a mile and a half in each direction. This was my best chance I had, and I needed to take it. I arrived at around 11 p.m. and parked my car way off on the dirt road and out of the line of sight from people who would be driving on it. I packed up all my gear that I would need for the night and started to trek up the area that I choose to watch from. I only bought 2 of my guns. My 9mm just in case, it's always good to have a backup, and my baby that was a little hungry to do some hunting, the Barrett 50 caliber. I finally trekked up the plateau and got the rifle set up for a good shot of incoming traffic. It was around midnight at this point, and I figured I'd just relax with some Jack and some shitty easy cook meals for a bit. I had no internet or phone service, so it was good old-fashioned books and a few good comics to keep me entertained. I had other stuff in the car, but I was content for the night. Around 2:30 to 3 a.m., I heard a car coming down the dirt road toward me. I figured it was a park ranger or some love-crazy kids that just wanted to be alone. I wasn't worried about either, as I had hidden my car extremely well, and I didn't have any electronics or any other things that would alert people to look up in my direction. I watched as the car got closer and closer to the area that I was planning on leaving the car for Mike to see. The car, a blue Toyota RAV4, had rental sticks on the sides of the windows, which made me think it was some tourist enjoying the desert at night. But then, once I started thinking about it, someone who doesn't know the area, especially while traveling at night, wouldn't even leave the scenic route roundabout, let alone come to some random off trail in the middle of bum-fucking Egypt. It dawned on me that Mike probably had to rent a car as I, blew his old one up. Oops. I waited for a minute and someone got out of the car, and holy shit, it was Mike. He had a big-ass bulletproof jacket on, along with some huge assault rifle. It looked like an AR-15, but way more decked out and more like something fucking Rambo would mow people in the rainforest with. I waited for him to drop his guard and look around for a bit, and then I took a shot. Missed by a bit. Holy shit, how dumb could I be? I didn't calibrate the scope after cleaning the gun. Fucking details, man. So I went into another purge point and calibrated the scope, and then I added a bit of other things into the equation, like distance and angle, and everything checked out. Mike was behind a boulder that was blocking my view from where I had first shot at him, but this new porch was just to the side of it. He slowly inched his way into my scope and lined up for a second shot. Boom! Holy fuck, this gun sounds beautiful. The bullet drop was a bit more than I anticipated, so I hit him in his knee. The bullet blew his fucking leg completely off his body from the knee down. I shot at the gun 3 times to disable it and empty my clip. I made my way down to him and he was looking at me with a shocked look like, how the fuck did you hit my leg? I put a tourniquet on his leg, but of course I searched him for weapons first. He still had that original 9mm with a suppressor on that he had first shot at me with. Memories, man. I then shot him up with an API pen that I always kept in my first aid kit to keep him alive for a bit longer. A bit cruel, yes, but I didn't want it to end just yet. I had other things for him to see. I dragged him over to his car and put him in the front seat so I could keep an eye on him. I went over to him with a bottle of Jack and asked him if he wanted a last drink. He sure took that opportunity, that's for damn sure. I loaded all the propane tanks into the back along with both the gasoline containers. We drove for about 45 minutes, him barely awake, but still fully conscious, and really enjoying the Jack. We got up a little ways on the back to Mount Charleston, and eventually got to a good straightaway with a sharp turn at the end, with nothing but a little guardrail in between the road and about a 1,300-foot drop. I found a good-sized rock on the side of the road and started to pour the gas all over the inside of the vehicle. All Mike did was close his eyes and wait. When I was done and about to launch it, I went up to the door and asked him a simple question. You want it fast and quick, or long and horrible? He looked at me with a smile and held up the nearly empty Jack Daniels bottle. Fast, but let me finish this first. He chugged the rest of it and said something I'll never forget. I definitely don't want to die just yet, but you sure set up one hell of a fucking game for yourself. He knew I had put up a hit on myself right after I left him the very first note in my apartment that said, "Tag, you're it." He looked up forward out of the windshield to the sky and said, "Do it. Make it quick and clean, and light this fucking thing and get out of the area." Until the very end, he was a damn good sport about it. If the tables would have been turned, I don't think I would have been so nice about it. And then I shot him, one temple out to the other. I set the gas on fire in the back first and placed the car in drive. I then let it fall on the gas panel and the car took off. It strayed to the right a bit, but it was going pretty damn fast by the time it hit the edge. I was walking for about 5 or 6 minutes before the propane tanks exploded. They can handle a bit of heat, I guess. They went off one after the other, and the last 4 or 5 of them all went off at once. I got off the highway and started walking the trail back to my area.